From ancient Roman emperors to the rulers of Europe's old monarchies, from 20th century dictators to 21st century supreme rulers, history has taught us that when one person has too much power, there is often an abuse of that power. In the 17th and 18th centuries, in a period known as the Age of Enlightenment, philosophers began to re-examine the idea of government. One of the foremost political philosophers of the Enlightenment was Charles-Louis de Secondat, Baron de la Brede et de Montesquieu. Montesquieu believed that understanding the various forms of government and finding ways to prevent corruption in government would help to improve human life and reduce society's problems. In his writings, Montesquieu identified three types of government: a monarchy, ruled by a king or queen who is limited by laws; a republic, ruled by an elected leader; and despotism, ruled by a dictator with unlimited power. The governments are also based on how leaders derive their powers. Monarchies are based on honor, and people attain higher status and rank by impressing the leader. Republics are based on virtue and place the common good above individual interests. Despotism is based on fear, with little regard for the rights of the people. To prevent corruption in government, Montesquieu developed the theory known as the separation of powers. Separation of powers is a political doctrine where the responsibilities of the government are divided into individual branches. Each branch is limited from exercising the core functions of another branch. Montesquieu advocated that the power of the government be divided into three main branches: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. The intent of separation of powers is to prevent the concentration of power in the hands of one person or one group. Montesquieu wrote, "When legislative power is united with executive power, there is no liberty. Nor is there liberty when the power of judging is not separate from legislative power and from executive power." The separation of powers doctrine is spelled out in Montesquieu's book, The Spirit of the Laws, which is considered one of the greatest works of political theory and jurisprudence. Montesquieu and his writings inspired the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Constitution of the United States. America's founding fathers, especially James Madison, who is called the father of the Constitution, were heavily influenced by Montesquieu's theories. At the Constitutional Convention of 1787, Madison and the other delegates established three independent branches of the government: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. To protect and maintain the separation of powers, James Madison played an integral role in establishing a system of checks and balances within the government. Checks and balances means that each branch of the government has some authority over the other branches. It limits the powers of each branch and assures that each one has to work with the other. That way, no one branch can become too powerful. For example, Congress passes the laws, but the president has the power to veto or reject the law. However, if 2/3 of the legislators still want the law, even after it's been vetoed, they can vote to override the president. And the Supreme Court can invalidate or cancel a law if it finds that the law contradicts or violates the principles of the Constitution.